Hey guys, it's Donna from Old Ways, and today it's time to make pasta sauce. So, I have 8 quarts of crushed tomatoes in a pot that I'll show you in a minute. And now I need 2 bell peppers. And this is the way I cut my bell peppers to minimize the seedage, because I hate those little tiny seeds. Okay. So we're going to cut up 2 bell peppers. And yes, they're big bell peppers, but it's okay. This tastes really good. And I'm sorry about my voice, but I seem to be losing my voice today. Allergies, gotta love them. And just so that you can see what I'm doing is cutting along the spine. And then I just break these off, and of course today they're seeds. But for the most part, you usually don't get seeds. And you want to take this off anyway because it tends to make things bitter. Okay, so it's going to be one of those days. Okay, so I'm going to pulse this until it's all chopped, well, crushed, chopped. I'll actually put it on high. So I pretty much make it into a liquid, and I do the same thing with the onions. And I'll be right back. Just going to pour it into the tomatoes. Because it seems to blend in better. Now I need 1.5 pounds of onions. And I'm going to do the same thing. Now, if you make your own dyes and stuff, this would be the time to separate your onion skins and go ahead and keep them in a cool, dry place. Let's take this out. But I don't have my own yarn to dye, so I don't keep my onion skins. I guess I should, but just haven't found a reason to keep them yet. And I weigh out my onions, but I always, okay, sorry for the interruption. Julie showed up, and that's what Daisy was barking about. But I usually do a little bit more than 1.5 pounds, so that when I cut all the skin off of the onion, I still have roughly 1.5 pounds. And as I finish this up, we'll do the same thing. We'll almost liquefy it because it just blends better. And I don't like chunks in my pasta sauce. But that's me. So, if you like chunks in your pasta sauce, you don't have to. Oh. Okay. So, you can see the consistency of this. It's almost liquid. Walk this way. Okay, now I'm going to pour it in here. I'm going to go ahead and give this a good stir. So that the pepper and the onion and the tomatoes can get a good melding of flavors. Okay, and I'm going to turn this, because this is my fast burner, I'm going to turn this on a medium low. But what we want to do is bring this to a gentle boil. And once it comes to a gentle boil, we want to keep it at a gentle boil for an hour. Then I'll be back to show you what's next. Now, while I'm waiting for that to come to a gentle boil, I'm going to go ahead and mix some of the other stuff up that I need. And that's because I like my garlic and my spices to be infused. So I need a cup of olive oil. Push down hard enough. I do this 100 times and it always peels. Today, it's not wanting to peel. Okay. Now I'm going to chop up my garlic so that it can infuse in the olive oil. We can get some good flavor. Like I said, there's 2 cloves. If you like more garlic, go ahead and put more garlic in. If you like less garlic, well, then you're just going to get tomato sauce. You're not going to have pastas. No. Do what your family likes. Okay, now I need a half a tablespoon of oregano. That looks like about half, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I need, let's see, 1.5 of basil and 1 of parsley. So let's get the parsley. Okay. 1 of parsley. One and a half of basil. I'm going to go ahead and stir this so it starts to infuse. And let this sit. And we'll be back in an hour. Guys, I looked at my recipe and I forgot because it calls for 2 bay leaves. Now, when I mix everything else in there, I'll mix 3/4 of a cup of sugar. I will mix a 1/4 cup. I'm just double checking. Yeah, 1/4 cup of canning salt and 24 ounces of tomato paste. So when it's time to add all that stuff, I'll be back. Okay, so it's been an hour, and we're going to add a 1/4 cup of canning salt, 3 cups of sugar.
3/4 cup.
I'm sorry, 3/4 cups. 3/4 of a cup of sugar. 24 ounces of tomato paste. And then, as we stir this in, we're going to add our garlic, bay leaves, spices, and oil. Now I use a very thick bottom pot for this to stop this from sticking. And we're going to let this, again, come to a slow boil. Very, very low, just barely boiling. And let it cook for another hour. Making sure that all the tomato paste gets mixed in well. Then I'll come back and we'll can it. So see you in an hour. So I've already done a few jars. And I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of these. I leave about ½ inch to an inch headspace. This is liquid, and I don't know that you need to debubble it, but I just go ahead and do it anyway. I go ahead and wipe the rim of the jar to make sure that it gets a good seal. And if I get anything on it, I go a second time around. Put the lid on. Put a ring. Make it finger tight. Set it in the canner. Dump the water. And repeat. I usually get, about 7 or 8 jars out of a batch. So far, this is what, jar number 5?
Mm-hmm.
One year, I made 108 quarts and still ran out. So, pasta sauce in this household is a staple. Make sure the lid is centered. 2, 4, 5, yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, because I want to make sure that there's at least an inch of water over top of these. Oop. So I'm going to go ahead and I have at least an inch of water. If I can get this jar out. See, if I don't have as much as I need, I would empty this right back into the canner because the water's already hot. And what I do sometimes with the extra sauce is I'll go ahead and put them in pint or half pint jars. This way, if we make pizzas, we're not opening a whole big jar. This is kind of like an all-purpose sauce. Center. And guys, this is all very hot, so be careful. Sit back in there. Get the last jar out. Fill the last jar, because that's all that'll fit in the canner. Now I have sauce left. And like I said, I'll probably go ahead and do pints or half pints. This way, if we make pizza, it's all good. And I don't have to open a quart jar. Try not to get the bay leaves in here. go. Get the last lid. Center it. And I'll bring this back up to a boil. And then process it for 20 minutes. So, we'll be back after it comes to a boil and the processing is over. We'll pull it out and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, well, 20 minutes are up. And so I'm just going to take the jars out and put them down. Oh, I should make some space. And let them cool. Completely cool. And then I can check the seals. After I check the seals and they've all popped, then I will go ahead and date them. Whoop. I'm all about making a mess today. I'll mark what they are, put the month and the year on it, and then I will draw from the oldest to the newest. This is just the first batch of many batches. Like I said, I made 108 and ran out one year. Last year, the year before. So, oh, just a real quick tip. If you have hard water or a lot of minerals in your water, add some vinegar to the water. It'll keep the jars from getting a film on the outside. You can wash the film off, but it's easier just not to have one.